Let's take a look at how to use Visual Builder Studio's Dynamic Layout Editor to customize components in your Oracle Cloud application. When you jump over to Visual Builder Studio from Oracle Cloud Applications, you land in VB Studio's Page Designer. Your page is displayed in the middle of the panel with the extensible areas indicated in blue. You have a couple of choices to start editing, but the simplest one is to click the component you want to customize either directly on the page or under Dynamic Components. Take a look at the Quick Actions panel on the right, which holds a selection of useful configuration options, dynamically chosen for each component. On the left, you can see all the dynamic components relating to the business objects used in this Oracle Cloud application. If you scroll down, you can see a list of page flows for the app as well. Use this panel as a navigator during your editing session. You have two main objectives when customizing your component. One, to configure the fields the way you want them in a layout, and two, to define the logic that determines which layout is applied to the component at runtime based on the viewer's current circumstances. Let's see how this works. Suppose you're modifying this component because you need to hide certain fields for users based in California. Specifically, you want to show only the user's name and email address, and allow managers to also see the user's job title. You start by creating a rule that contains this logic. The default rule for the component was set by Oracle and can't be changed, but you can copy it to use it as a starting point or create a brand new one to start from scratch. You're going to need a new layout for your California users, so you may as well copy the default layout to use as a starting point too. Let's set the condition for our California rule. At runtime, Visual Builder Studio runs through all the rules from top to bottom. When it finds a rule for which the condition is true, VB Studio uses the layout defined for that rule. The remaining rules are not evaluated. In our case, if the user is in California, then the In California layout will be applied to the component. If not, then the default rule will be used, which shows the component in its original form. Now that you have the display logic set, let's go ahead and add those fields that are relevant only to Californians. Delete the fields you don't want, that is, everything except for display name, work email, and job title, simply by clicking each field's X icon at the far right. If you wanted to, you could also drag and drop fields to change their order, add fields by dropping them over, or even set a condition to display a field only in certain cases, when the user is a manager, for example. Depending on how the base application was built, you can read and even overwrite certain variables and constants or create new variables. For example, suppose a base app has set the default page heading for a page to Organization. Because this constant is overwritable, you can change this heading to something more appropriate for your installation. You can also use custom events exposed by the base app in action chains. For example, if the base app exposes a listenable event, like when a pop-up is displayed, you can define an action chain that is triggered when that event occurs. You can also define your own custom events for your app extension. Let's go back to the Dynamic Layout Editor. When you finish configuring your layout, click Done. Use the Layout preview to apply your layout to the component, even if you as a user don't satisfy the display logic. In this case, if you're not in California. You can see that this component now shows only the two fields we wanted, username and email address. If the user is a manager, the job title field will also appear, thanks to the condition we set on that field. That's all there is to it. Thanks for watching. Learn more at docs.oracle.com.